Okay, so yeah, Trump is dangerous and MAGA Republicans are dangerous. And we know that we're in the darkest period of American history, just about, I think, since the Civil War. Um, these guys are also stupid. RFK Jr. wanting to change the way we eat and health and get us to cut back on fructose and all that. He's got all these big plans, not realizing that all you need to do is you can cut out corn subsidies. They're going to find out things that your lowest paid legislative assistant on Capitol Hill knows. I hope that even Republicans sit back and laugh at them and let them step in it. I find it hard to believe that even the most pretend MAGA Republicans on Capitol Hill really want this stuff to go through. And I've talked about this before. I don't think there are many. Now, over the course of the past 8 years, of course, they've sort of layered over the normals, the people that sort of caved, the establishment people that had to just roll over and accept this stuff, mostly out of shock when Trump won in 2016. I think we might see some pushback from Republicans. Again, we've seen this from Mike Pence on the outside of fighting against RFK Jr. Ostensibly on the abortion issue. I think it's possible that Pence uh, wants to save his soul and by doing so save the country, but he can't pose Trump on some of these things and seem hypocritical if he was okay with them before. So his opposition to RFK Jr. is on the abortion issue because RFK Jr. is very pro-abortion. So, but the real opposition, I think, is because he knows that he's dangerously insane and stupid, and just you cannot have somebody like this leading the Department of Health and Human Services. This is how people die when you have the wrong people in charge. Like when Michael Caputo went over to head up the communications at HHS during the pandemic and was forcing them to basically lie about the data, the COVID data. And under Trump, we had hundreds of thousands of Americans die from COVID, and these were preventable deaths. It was because of the lies and the incompetence and the corruption. I remember Caputo was, making sure his friends were taken care of financially with some of these contracts, which obviously means that he got his own kickbacks as well. So this is what we are looking at. The Gates thing isn't going to go through, obviously. We've talked about that. But again, that was just to allow him to quit Congress before the end of this term so that he could, 2 days before the ethics report was to be released, so that he could have a reason to not have it be released. So he's not going to be confirmed. He's not going to be AG. And so he's been elected to this next term, so he can put his hand on the Bible and he can serve this congressional term. Um, and then all bets are off on that ethics report, right? Because that was this Congress. And so when this Congress is done, then I guess they think, well, that's just done. We're just going to wash our hands of that and not deal with it again. Never happened. Never happened. This is what's going on. I find it hard to believe that Pete Hegseth is going to make it as as Secretary of Defense. So that's another shit show for Trump. And with Trump, he's doing it, I think he's doing it he's working with Putin to do this, to destroy America from within. I think that Elon Musk is clearly in on that agenda as well. At some point, you're going to have more and more Republicans in Congress and leaders around the country catch on to this too. And they will realize that they are the last line of defense. I don't think that they have the doodads to stand up and do the right thing. There might be some that do. Will it be enough? Probably not. But they've been relying on Democrats and Mueller and Garland and media to do their jobs. I maintain that I think the vast majority of elected Republicans and their staff and the establishment types, the ones that were there before, they're not MAGA. They didn't come in with the MAGA wave, which was a very small wave. So these are people who were secretly hoping that others would solve the problem so that they wouldn't have to. So I think that's where we are. I just did a segment on Al Hura TV, and I was on with a seriously MAGA Republican guy who was using language like, they won't dare, Republicans won't dare oppose Trump on his agenda, or they will be primary. I mean, the authoritarian language was just through the roof. And this is something that probably, keeps him in good stead with the MAGA crowd. These are what these guys think is okay to talk like this. Guarantee you that there are still Republicans, and they're not necessarily never Trump Republicans in the Senate. They're not going to take kindly to that kind of language. And there might, remember, Senate terms are 6 years long. So if they don't have to worry about being primaried in 2 years, and they have the luxury of time, some of them just might grow a soul and a conscience and some affection for what America used to be and try and do the right thing. If enough of them do, we're fine. They mostly tend to do that once it's all over, like Mike Pence and Mitt Romney, once they're out. Um, but I'm still not willing to count them out. Do I have confidence in them? Oh, hell no. No. But sometimes these guys get in a position when they have nothing left to lose, just maybe they'll do the right thing. Just maybe. Um, I can guarantee you that Lindsey Graham is probably top of the list of the people that wish somebody would take out Trump on this stuff, that they would have done him in, because whatever they got on him, I think he just wants his nightmare to be over. And instead, it's going to go on and on and on. So um, maybe they won't let him quit the Senate, but they've got him by, you know, they've got him, and his life will never be safe or okay. Um, I worked with him when he was a freshman House member. I knew him. He was on the committee where I was a communications director. I worked closely with him. He was nice and funny, and you remember and smart. And remember when he ran for president in the GOP primary against Trump, how he was. And then there was that golfing outing, and everything changed with him. Uh, he got in line and then some, didn't he? So there might be more. Um, there might be more. But I'm still looking for bright spots without, acting like, oh, we're going to be okay. Yeah, that's what the Garland cheerleaders did. So trying to be realistic, just looking at things as they come up. But the fact that Trump has the full sweep, House and Senate, White House, and he's got more than half of Republican senators who privately are saying, yeah, they're not going to vote for Gates, which means they won't vote for Hegseth. Trump's not going to get through a number of his picks through the confirmation process. If he does recess appointments when he has the House and the Senate and the clean sweep, that's bad. But again, some of them are just a false flag. It puts these people up that are so egregious that when they fall by the wayside, whatever he replaces them with, Republicans are just so glad that it's not the one that was as bad as the previous one, and that makes them look good. But yeah, I think Putin is behind this, calling the shots, jerking us around. So get used to that, huh?